Tense trade talks with the U.S.
It's time we rip it up and start over.
The top demands from auto unions on both sides of the border. Home security video exposes teen vandalism in LaSalle.
I heard something that sounded like gunshots.
Emotional and accountability within the community. And waterfront blitz.
There was one evening I was tempted to call the police.
OPP targets dangerous driving and excessive noise in Leamington.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on CTV Windsor and AM 800. The United Auto Workers Union has laid out their vision for the next free trade agreement, and there are very few references to Canada. Joining me with the details on this tonight, CTV's Michelle Molesky.
Well, Stefanie, the UAW held a 45-minute virtual briefing last night laying out their three demands for the renegotiation of USMCA, or CUSMA as we call it here in Canada. Today I went to a local Unifor leader to get their top three asks to see how they compare. Wearing a Kill NAFTA t-shirt, UAW President Shawn Fain makes their view clear.
It's time we rip it up and start over.
The UAW is demanding domestic content requirements, improved labor rights for Mexican workers, and strong wage standards for all. If those demands can't be met, the UAW says America should walk away from free trade.
Free trade agreements have made, NAFTA in particular, has made these corporations extremely profitable. By exploiting communities, wrecking communities, exploiting workers, and driving a race to the bottom, while a handful at the top take everything.
The 45-minute briefing barely mentioned Canada, but speakers repeatedly referenced factory closures and job losses to Mexico.
They know Canada is not a problem.
Unifor Local 444 President James Stewart says both unions agree the deal has allowed too much work to move to Mexico, and the wage provisions laid out in the deal for Mexican workers aren't working.
Rather than pay the workers in Mexico $16 an hour, they'll keep paying them less money and pay the penalty that it costs them to ship the cars to the U.S. because that's cheaper than paying the wages.
Unifor would also like that changed, and they would like to see more domestic content requirements. Stewart says, however, their biggest demand is zero trade tariffs.
Each country deserves their fair share of product based on our relationships.
The U.S. and Mexico are reportedly starting CUSMA talks on Monday. Canada isn't part of those discussions, but we won't have to wait long to find out what the future holds.
We're going to know on June the 1st, when USTR Ambassador Jameson Greer goes to Congress and says, hey, this is what we intend to do.
Volpe says then each country has until July 1st to state its intentions.
Say, we're in, no changes, or we want to make some changes and there's a review process, or we want out. And that means we start a 6-month clock.
Ever the optimist, Volpe tells me he is more prepared this time around for trade talks than he was going into NAFTA renegotiations. He says they have a very clear picture of the American position and a year's worth of worst-case scenario data to lean on as they get down to brass tacks this summer and then into the fall. Stefanie.
Okay, hopefully an agreement can be reached.
And quickly.
Yes. Okay, Michelle Molesky, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
In other news, speeding, stunt driving, and excessive noise near Leamington's marina and ferry docks are prompting an increased police presence in that area this summer. CTV's Chris Campbell joining us now with more on what OPP hope to crack down on. Chris.
Yes, Stefanie, I'm standing near the Leamington waterfront where warmer weather and recent redevelopment projects are drawing larger crowds. Essex County OPP say they're now increasing patrols in response to ongoing traffic safety concerns in the area. The Leamington detachment of the Ontario Provincial Police says officers will be focusing enforcement efforts around the marina, ferry docks, and waterfront market plaza. Community safety zones include sections of Erie Street South, Robson Road, and Cherry Lane.
This is a drag strip at night.
Police say concerns raised by the community include speeding, stunt driving, and unnecessary noise as the town continues to navigate road work season.
There was one evening I was tempted to call the police. because I was just waiting for the crunch.
Chris Edgar moved to Leamington last fall and says she's frequently heard vehicles racing through the area after dark.
I kept hearing all of these squealing tires and engines revving, and I thought, there's going to be a crunch.
Lifelong resident Ken N says the issue has become disruptive for people living near the waterfront.
It's very disturbing.
N says he supports the increased police presence and would also like to see additional traffic enforcement measures introduced.
I commend the police department for beefing up their surveillance.
Mayor Hilda McDonald says the municipality has also received complaints and has been working with police and bylaw officers to address concerns while trying to keep the waterfront welcoming for residents and visitors.
It's a waterfront destination, and we want to make it safe. We want to make it enjoyable for the people.
McDonald says the municipality has also added traffic calming measures, including narrowed roadways, crosswalks, and increased parking.
If this impacts the safety and the quality of life for the people that live and visit our waterfront. Drive safe. Be careful of the people that are walking, other people that are driving. This is about being a good neighbor when you're behind the wheel. That's what this is, caring about somebody else rather than about speeding through.
Police are reminding drivers that traffic complaints can be reported through the OPP non-emergency line, while dangerous or impaired driving should be reported immediately to 911. Stephanie?
Okay, Chris Campbell, thank you for this. A Windsor man has been charged with attempted murder after police say he allegedly doused a woman with a chemical accelerant and tried to light her on fire. Officers were called to the 2900 block of Dougal Avenue near the EC Row Expressway shortly after 7 p.m. on Wednesday. Investigators say a man and a woman were fighting. The man then allegedly threatened to kill the woman and her cat before pouring the accelerant on her. She suffered non-life-threatening injuries. 40-year-old Glenn Thomas Clocher is facing serious charges, including attempted murder and assault with a weapon. A 28-year-old Windsorite is recovering after a motorcycle crash in LaSalle. OPP say the rider crashed into a barrier on the 401 near Todd Lane Thursday night just before 8 p.m. The rider suffered non-life-threatening injuries and was taken to hospital. The highway was closed for about 3 hours while police investigated. And Windsor investigators are looking into an overnight fire near the university. Around 11:30 Thursday night, multiple trucks battled a fire on Curry Avenue just north of Wyandotte Street West. The home sustained $500,000 in damage, according to fire officials. Then this morning, Windsor police investigators were on scene. They tell us it's too early to say if the fire is suspicious, but they are going door to door to talk to neighbors. 4 people have been displaced from their home as a result of the fire. Officials say extensive structure damage is making it all the more difficult to isolate what triggered this fire. A LaSalle homeowner says a late-night act of vandalism has left her feeling unsettled. Surveillance video shows a group running up to a home, repeatedly kicking a garage door, then taking off. The incident is shining a light not just on the consequences youth can face, but what those consequences can actually look like. CTV's Sanjay Maru joins us now with this. Sanjay.
Stephanie, the homeowners involved moved to this neighborhood in LaSalle near Heritage Park 31 years ago, but now they say they're thinking about moving. They posted the video of this incident on social media, and it's sparking bigger questions on if youth are actually held responsible for their actions, and if so, how?
I heard something that sounded like gunshots.
Late Sunday night, 4 masked people caught on camera are seen kicking a LaSalle homeowner's garage door so hard she said she could feel it from the other end of her home.
It sounded like an earthquake or whatever. It felt like, the bed was shaking.
The incident was reported to LaSalle police, and video was posted by the homeowner to social media, generating hundreds of reactions from people demanding accountability. Some, however, are not so optimistic that will happen. This individual individual says even if they get caught, there will be no consequences, and these punks know it. But Youth Diversion Executive Director Joanna Conrad says that's far from the truth.
When it comes to the young person and them being held accountable, I think it really matters when they have to see somebody and meet them face to face.
That meeting between a young offender and their victim, Conrad says, is a key part of the restorative justice process at Youth Diversion.
Oftentimes, the victim is wondering, who did this to me? Why did they do this to me? Are they going to do it again? They have a lot of uneasy feelings, and they have the opportunity then to get into how it's impacted them, maybe emotionally, psychologically, financially.
And in cases where the offense involves damages, Conrad says young offenders are required to pay up even if they do not have the cash right now.
Not every young person is working and or has access to money. What we will recommend is if mom or dad or parents pay for the restitution, that they devise some sort of a deal at home for the young person to work that money off.
But Conrad says accountability cannot end there, adding parents have to follow up at home so youth understand the cost of their actions. As for Shelley Davidson, she hopes the video encourages people to keep a more watchful eye on their community.
How did it make you feel when that happened?
Violated. I'm hoping that we can look out for one another in this neighborhood.
And the head of Essex County Youth Diversion goes on to say that feeling shame can actually help young offenders learn from their mistakes, and says working through those emotions, not pushing them away, is an important part of correcting their behavior and taking accountability. Stefanie.
Okay, Sanjay, thank you for this. CTV weather specialist Rita Ismail joining me tonight from the Weather Center. And Rita, rainy and more windy conditions ahead of us.
Certainly for the weekend, Stephanie, we do have this big rain-filled system sitting stateside, slowly edging over Lake Erie and then into southern Ontario within the next 12 to 24 hours. And that means lots of rainfall, strong easterly winds tomorrow, gusting up to 50 kilometers per hour. And we could see 30 millimeters of rainfall in a short period of time as well. Early in the morning, the chance for thunderstorms is also there. And along the warm front boundaries, we're expecting our temperatures to stay mild tonight, but there is a drop tomorrow, and that means a wet, windy, and damp Saturday. But there is improvement in the long-term forecast. I'll break that down for you a little later in the show. Stefanie?
Okay, from commuting to work to just cruising around town, e-scooters are becoming a more common sight across Windsor, Essex. And tonight, CTV's Travis Fortnum hops on one himself to break down the rules riders need to know before they take off.
As the temperature outside and gas prices keep going up, you're probably going to see a lot more people rolling around on e-scooters. But what are the rules for when you are riding one in town? Let's go find out.
Ontario is currently running an e-scooter pilot program, which means municipalities get some say in how they're used locally. Things like where you can ride, where you can park, and whether insurance is needed can change depending on the community. But there are some rules that apply pretty much everywhere. Riders have to be at least 16 years old. Helmets are required for anyone under 18. E-scooters can't go faster than 24 kilometers an hour, and you also can't double up or carry cargo. These things are definitely getting more popular, especially as people look for cheaper ways to get around.
I'm getting people looking for the shorter commute to work to save on gas. I'm having kids come in just bus money to save on bus money going to school.
TJ Dowhanyuk from Soar Hobby and More says they've been selling and servicing a lot of e-scooters heading into the summer months. LaSalle Police also putting out a reminder this week about safety, including some of the equipment riders need after dark. A white light on the front, a red light on the back, and reflective material on the side so you can be seen. Riders also need a bell or horn because being seen and heard is important.
Generally, I do suggest getting a helmet just because you're going at these higher speeds and you're completely silent while you're on these. So it's very easy for people not paying attention to hit you.
Under the pilot project, Ontario reminding riders it's up to the municipality whether you can scoot on a sidewalk. In Windsor, it's not allowed.
Just like when you're riding a bike, you do have to follow the Ontario Highway Traffic Act, or you could get a ticket that could cost you upwards of $2,000.
Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
This brings us to our question of the day. Do you know the rules regarding using an e-scooter? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked if you make an effort to buy Canadian products. Just under 700 people weighed in. 85% say yes, they do. Rising jet fuel costs driven by global conflict are adding pressure on Windsor International Airport, potentially slowing its growth plans.
We have to look at our own processes and look at our structures, and to find the economies where we can find them.
Airport CEO Mark Galvin says passenger traffic at Windsor International Airport has only recovered to about 50 to 60% of pre-pandemic levels. Now airlines are once again becoming more cautious, trimming or delaying service to protect profits. He says efforts to attract new service continues and the airport remains open to a potential return of Flair Airlines, but warns higher fuel costs could limit flight frequency moving forward.
We're not a small community. We don't serve a small catchment area. So we kind of bring that to the table to say that, you know, we have the passengers, we have the base, and then it's just the ability of the community to embrace those routes and fly them. And then the more that happens, the easier it is for the next conversation and the next conversation and the next conversation.
Brave Day is tomorrow, with about 100 people getting psyched up to rappel the CIBC building in downtown Windsor. The crew was on site today getting ready for the Cancer Center Foundation fundraising event. Last year's rappel raised $500,000. As of lunchtime, they were at close to $300,000. A warning to fans planning to watch: weather may delay Saturday's rappel. If that is the case, keep an eye on social media. Participants will be emailed. Now, do you have an idea for a great story? We want to hear from you. Text us at 10400. You can also send photos and video. Still ahead on Windsor's News Leader, federal leaders and premiers weigh in on Alberta's future in Canada, saying unity matters now more than ever. What is causing a critical equipment shortage for the Canadian Armed Forces? That's still ahead. And Monday, unlimited car wash passes can suddenly be shut off without warning. What is going wrong? And how you can keep it from happening to you. That's Monday at 6 on CTV News. Enhanced screening at Canadian airports as an outbreak of Ebola continues to spread. The World Health Organization warns infections are rising in Central Africa, but the global risk remains low. CTV's Heather Wright now on the message from Canada's Chief Public Health Officer.
Passengers arriving at major ports of entry in Canada will now be asked about their travel history and any symptoms that could be related to Ebola, as the virus continues to spread rapidly in parts of Africa.
Our officers are designated as screening officers under the Quarantine Act and are well trained in the event that a traveler displays any symptoms of illness.
During a news conference this afternoon, Canada's top doctor gave an update on what she called a serious and evolving situation, including whether Canada will issue any travel restrictions on countries where the virus is circulating.
It's important that we look at how effective things like travel bans are. We need to be looking at whether or not there is any evidence that the outbreak is escaping the area that it's currently concentrated.
Dr. Joss Reimer says travel bans are ultimately a decision of cabinet. And while the Public Health Agency of Canada provides advice, Reimer would not say whether she would recommend any travel restrictions. Experts reiterate that the risk to Canadians remains low.
So I think for sure there's a heightened attention to the virus and its potential for spread through travel, but the risk to places outside endemic regions are very, very low.
On Monday, American officials suspended entry into the United States for 30 days for travelers without a U.S. passport who have recently been to the Democratic Republic of Congo, South Sudan, and Uganda. That ban forced a Detroit-bound Air France flight to divert to Montreal because a passenger from the DRC boarded the plane in error.
They were assessed by a Public Health Agency of Canada quarantine officer, found not to have any symptoms, and have since returned to their point of origin.
A person in Ontario who returned from Ethiopia with symptoms consistent with a range of illnesses was tested for Ebola out of an abundance of caution. Those tests have come back negative, and health officials are asking any passengers returning from the affected regions to monitor their symptoms for at least 21 days. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Reaction was swift today to Alberta Premier Danielle Smith calling a referendum on sovereignty. Federal political leaders and premiers from other provinces all stressing the importance of Alberta remaining in Canada. CTV's Rachel Aiello is tracking the fallout from Ottawa.
Facing the prospect of Albertans voting to separate from Canada. Today, the Prime Minister said the country, much like the Parliament Hill renovations he toured, is a work in progress.
Canada's working. We're working in a spirit of cooperative federalism to make the country better. We're renovating the country as we go, and Alberta being at the center of that is essential.
The question Albertans will be asked on October 19th is a wordy one. Should Alberta remain a province of Canada? Or should the government of Alberta commence the legal process required under the Canadian Constitution to hold a binding provincial referendum on whether or not Alberta should separate from Canada? Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre said he and his party will fight for a united country.
We're going to reach out to Albertans in every corner of the province to make the case for our wonderful country, and we're going to do it through hope. We want Albertans to understand that they can have an even better future in our country.
While Premier Danielle Smith has insisted she's committed to a united country, the NDP's sole Alberta MP accused her of stoking division.
She made a choice to put that referendum question on the ballot, and I think it's a huge, huge mistake. This is not what Albertans need right now.
And the Premier of Canada's most populous province also didn't hold back.
I'd never do it. Premier Smith knows how I feel. She wants to, I guess, protect her 30% base. It's not going to win, as far as I'm concerned. It'd be a disaster for Alberta.
The federal opposition voices we heard from today said that while all sides need to fight for Alberta to stay, Ottawa also has to swiftly address Albertans' legitimate economic concerns beyond building a pipeline, because much like the Centre Block renovations, that is going to take years to complete. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canada's military is chronically short on gear, so much so that it's now asking some personnel to return some of it. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver now with more on what else is in such short supply.
Thousands of troops in the Ottawa area are being asked to hand in some of their field gear to help compensate for what the Defence Department is calling critical equipment shortages.
It doesn't send a very positive message, even though it might be normal. It just indicates just how weak the procurement system is, how low the stockpiles are, and just how much demand there is on operations right now.
About 10,000 troops received an email last week requesting they return rucksacks, patrol packs, tactical vests, and fragmentation vests. The Defence Department says the equipment will be reissued to deployable units. Personnel in non-deployable units do not require this equipment for their day-to-day duties. This, in conjunction with several other initiatives, will also help address potential shortfalls of items, particularly of highly demanded sizes.
It's a reflection of the mindset we've lived through several generations at National Defence, which is without enough to go around, you get by with as much as you can get away with.
Ottawa has promised to scale up military recruitment and add tens of billions to the defence budget. But experts say changing that scarcity mindset and modernizing procurement policies will take time.
Those quite literally growing pains of an organization that for decades has not been used to grow and has policies in place that are, as we can see, not well adapted in terms of scale, scope, and complexity to the ask that the government has of the Canadian Armed Forces.
The department says these kinds of requests are issued periodically and that the gear could go to Latvia to new recruits or be used for training. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
A key parcel of land near the proposed Ojibwe National Urban Park in Windsor has been sold. A 34.75-acre property at Sprucewood Avenue and Matchett Road has changed hands, though the buyer and sale price have not been released. The land was part of a larger group of parcels the city had been eyeing on as part of efforts to assemble land for the proposed federal park. There is some relief for drivers at the pumps to kick off the weekend. Prices fell by roughly 9 cents overnight. Canadians for Affordable Energy President Dan McTeague says the cost of gas is expected to drop another 4 cents tomorrow. That would bring prices down to roughly $1.80 a litre at most Ontario stations.
Markets are reacting, within a microsecond to any rumor or comment that's made by President Trump or comments regarding the potential for a ceasefire or a peace agreement. All this week we've been talking about, prices dropping as a result of what could be a clearing in the Strait of Hormuz someday. Now we've done this, and I'm counting it, 8 times. Where, the job owning, as they refer to it as by the president or someone within the White House, has markets in a lather, believing everything's going to be fine, and suddenly we realize it isn't.
McTeague is also predicting that diesel prices will drop by 5 cents on Saturday. A new ruling from the CRTC means digital streamers will soon have to pay more for Canadian content. The move means online streaming services like Netflix or Disney Plus will have to contribute 15% of their Canadian revenue to Canadian content, up from 5%. Meanwhile, traditional broadcasters will see their amount lowered down to 25%. The CRTC say the changes will amount to $2 billion in funding. However, some U.S. politicians claim the policies discriminate against American companies. North American markets moved mildly into positive territory today. In Toronto, the TSX gained 62 points. In New York, the Dow jumped ahead 294, while the Nasdaq added 51. The Canadian dollar lost 0.13 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold fell almost $20 an ounce and oil gained 25 cents a barrel. 56,000 Windsor residents don't have a family doctor. Now, work at the University of Windsor aims to help change that.
Tonight's weather snapshot sent in from our viewer Peg Roth, a great close-up of adorable baby robins. Thanks so much for sharing. Clouds increase as we head into the night. The winds will continue to gust, picking up on Saturday as the low pressure system moves in. Tomorrow it will bring widespread showers throughout the day, not really letting up until late Saturday evening, and there is a chance for some rain on Sunday as well. But great news for next week, sunshine returns with a nice big warm-up. Temperatures in the mid-20s.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Overcast outside. Rita joins me again for an extended look at the weather. And Rita, some of our viewers may have children or grandkids who are supposed to have either soccer practice or baseball practice this weekend. They should be on alert.
They should. I actually know someone who's getting married tomorrow, and their wedding is outdoors. So, because tomorrow is looking to be quite the wet and windy day. Today, though, it was nice earlier today, although the clouds have certainly moved through. 19 degrees was our forecast high. We didn't quite reach there. We hovered around 17 throughout the afternoon. Normal this time of year is 22, record 32 in 1941. Now, heading into the night, you can see that thick cloud starting to build. Again, it's all associated with this low pressure system that's pulling in, and it will be bringing lots of moisture, anywhere between 20 to 30 millimeters of rainfall in the next 12 to 24 hours, or rather in the next 24 hours, the rain moving in late tonight into tomorrow. And as you can see, there are some embedded thunderstorms that will push through along the frontal boundary. So early in the morning, we could wake up to thunder, and then that rainfall really persistent into the afternoon. We do get a bit of a break Saturday night into Sunday morning, and then another another area of active weather is likely to move through around 3 p.m. on Sunday. So if you do have barbecue plans for Sunday, you might have to have some indoor plans to move them, because we are expecting that weather to be unstable on Sunday as well. But good news in behind that, high pressure moves into play Monday, and we'll hold on to lots of sunshine next week. But certainly the next 12 hours will be a bit rocky. The winds starting to pick up this evening out of the east, 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. So it does feel cool out there. And once that rain pushes through, it will also feel damp, windy, rainy conditions in the morning. And again, the chance for thunderstorms is there early on. We'll start the day at 11 degrees, climbing to 17, remaining below seasonal for tomorrow. Although overnight, it will feel a little bit warmer in terms of our overnight temperatures, because that warm front will pull through. But with the windy conditions and the rain, it is going to feel cooler than that. Your 7-day forecast brought to you by Enercare experts at home. So not the best weekend forecast, especially tomorrow, and then heading into Sunday. Again, a bit of a break between the morning and into the early afternoon, but then we do have a little bit more moisture pushing through Sunday afternoon. The temperature will start to climb, 23 degrees Sunday, and then getting even warmer. It looks like we'll get another taste of summer next week when the sunshine returns, mix of sun and cloud, Monday through to Friday, and our temperatures in the mid-20s, Stefanie. So things will certainly start to look up, but first we have to get through this wet and windy weekend.
A new partnership between the University of Windsor and Green Shield Canada involves several initiatives to improve health and well-being across the region. One project alone is expected to benefit more than 50,000 people across Windsor, Essex. CTV's Bob Belichico explains.
Team-based care is absolutely the future of healthcare in this province.
Windsor-Tecumseh MPP Andrew Dowie was among the dignitaries in attendance for the renaming of Windsor Hall at the University of Windsor today. 9 months ago, a partnership was formed between the University of Windsor, Green Shield Canada, and Hotel Dieu Grace Healthcare. $2.5 million earmarked over 3 years to help underserved residents. According to Green Shield President Zahid Salman, the partnership has 3 work streams, including the setting up of a primary care clinic in the city focused on residents who don't have a family doctor. Salman says the hope, over time, is to get approval for multiple clinics in the region and connect 54,000 people.
It'll serve mainly the university populations, staff, and students to start, and we'll get some learnings, and then we want to take it out broader into the community.
Salman says they are preparing in anticipation of upcoming government grant applications.
It's dovetailing very well with the provincial ambition of getting 100% primary care coverage for all Ontarians by 2029.
Recent government funding will help close to 18,000 unattached people in the region. Now, Dowie points out while students are going through a growing number of medical schools, it is important to leverage every healthcare professional available in order to deliver primary care.
Making sure that their skill set helps our health, our personal health, improve.
University President J.J. McMurtry says the partnership is also helping mental health care.
There's a couple of things that are in the works, which I can't talk about, but specifically we're releasing a series of 5 modules that will be available to help people work through mental health in the workplace.
Salman says mental health research is another stream.
We can help introduce it to some of our clients and really improve psychological safety in the workplace.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
There is a new gene therapy treatment available for people living with a rare bleeding disorder. Previously, patients had to rely on regular transfusions. Brian Bickmall has more now on what this could mean for the future of treatments.
So now, like when the doctor tell me you are good, first thing I will do sports. Yeah.
Basil Abojowish dreamed of playing sports his whole life, especially soccer, but he could never get his kicks because he lives with hemophilia B, in which the body does not produce enough factor IX, a protein needed to clot blood or stop bleeding. This rare disorder comes with repeated unpredictable bleeds, joint damage, and a whole lot of pain.
It's a lot of pain, to be honest, like when you have a bleeding and you cannot like do your your normal life activity, as I like even sometimes go to washroom. Like if you have bleeding in your ankle or anywhere, like you cannot walk.
For the 31-year-old and others with the disorder, it means lifelong treatment of ongoing and often weekly factor IX transfusions. But there is new hope for patients. Last week, Basil became the first person in Canada to be treated with Hemgenics at London Health Sciences Centre. It's a one-time gene therapy for adults with the disorder.
This milestone marks a transformative step in Canadian hemophilia care.
Dr. Chai Pua, who oversaw the treatment, says the new gene therapy, decades in the making, is life-changing for adults with the disorder.
Yes, absolutely. Major breakthrough because it shifts hemophilia B treatment from this lifelong frequent infusion to this one-time therapy that helps the body produce its own factor IX. And so less bleeding overall, less treatment burden, and potentially independence from regular treatment. It's a full paradigm shift in terms of how we treat hemophilia B.
As for Basil, he can't wait to leave the sidelines and finally get out on the pitch, a freedom he's never known.
To be honest, I never do sport in my life, so this is the big, yeah.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Could what's growing in your backyard be dinner? Coming up, the edible plants that are nutritious and the toxic lookalikes you need to avoid.
Sandy McDonald joins me again, and this time for our Get Gardening segment, we are talking about things that are natural, toxic, and edible, good for you, and there's quite a selection here at Jackson Park, for example. Talk to us about what we have in front of us here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one caveat as well, do not eat anything that you do not know exactly what it is. But some things are easy to identify, right? Dandelion, for sure. People know dandelion very well. And the whole dandelion is edible. The flowers, the stems, the leaves, and the roots. And we even brought a little bit of dandelion root tea here. And I think we've even mentioned before that University of Windsor was studying this as a sort of adjunct medication for cancer treatment. So dandelion's very nutritious. And many people with a European background know how delicious this can be. And again, we shouldn't really be using any illegal chemicals on our lawns, ones that are growing perhaps in your vegetable garden. And that's where I typically take mine from, because I know I've only used organic fertilizers there. I've used no chemicals in my vegetable garden beds. So that's a very safe spot. Public places and parks, you don't always know what goes on there. So again, make sure that the source is clean and the pesticides and the sprays, they have not been used there.
What do you have here? This looks rather interesting.
Sure. And this is a Kentucky coffee tree, and it's a fairly popular ornamental tree in Windsor. And it's a good example of, is it edible? Is it poisonous? And the answer is yes and yes. But which parts and when and how? So almost anything can technically be toxic. It all depends on the dose. In the case of Kentucky coffee tree, these large seeds here, if you were to eat them raw or even as juveniles, they are toxic. However, First Nations people and early colonizers in North America knew that if these were heavily roasted down to a dark brown, they could be used as a coffee substitute.
I know it's a violet, a wild violet. I didn't realize they were edible until you and I talked about them.
That's true, and I think it was a week or two ago. They've been in flower for a couple of weeks now, and they are edible. It's usually the flowers that we use. However, the leaves are also edible as well, and it's actually quite nutritious, as you did some research on as well. It has a relative here too, the pansy or viola. These are the same genus of plant. So the pansy or viola, again, without chemicals or pesticides applied, is also edible.
Research makes sure it's safe. You might be surprised at what's on your next dinner plate.
Stephen Colbert signed off for a final time last night after 11 seasons behind the desk of The Late Show.
I'll say to you what I've said to every audience for the last 11 years, and I have meant it every time. Have a good show. Thanks for being here. And let's do it, y'all.
Last summer, CBS announced the show would be ending, citing economic reasons. However, some critics, including Colbert himself, questioned whether political pressure played a role, as Colbert has been a vocal opponent of U.S. President Donald Trump. Paul McCartney performed as part of the finale in the same theater where the Beatles made their U.S. debut on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1964. Now, coming up after the break, Melanie, you've got details on a birthday party.
Yes, an inspirational dog in Chatham-Kent is celebrating a milestone.
Stay with us.
The biggest selling comedy recording artist of all time, Weird Al Yankovic, is coming to Windsor July 4th. Enter online at ctvwindsor.ca for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to see Weird Al Yankovic at Caesars Windsor, plus a $200 gift card.
This is your CTV Windsor Our Community Calendar. Join us on Saturday, June the 13th for an unforgettable night of fashion in partnership with Fashion Week Windsor Essex, all in support of the Kidney Foundation. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Melanie Kentner. And Melanie, you have more on the goals of youth diversion after an incident like the one we heard about in LaSalle.
That's right. So earlier in the show, we told you about a LaSalle homeowner left shaken after surveillance video showed a group running up to her home and repeatedly kicking her garage door. Youth Diversion Executive Director Joanna Conrad said cases like this can become a turning point when young people are forced to face the impact of their actions. She points to a recent online comment from someone who said they knew a person who went through diversion years ago, learned from their mistake, and turned their life around. For Conrad, that kind of outcome is the goal.
I myself am a kid who was in a diversion program when I was 16 years old. Although diversion didn't change me instantaneously in that moment, it woke me up to the fact that I was making really poor choices and that if I continued down that path, I wasn't going to end up in the place that I truly wanted to be.
We've got those details and more online at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And we also have an online story of note, Melanie, about the children's art exhibition.
Yeah, so young artists in Windsor have a chance to showcase their work. The City of Windsor and the International Relations Committee are asking children between 6 and 13 years old to participate in the 10th annual art competition. It was created to strengthen Windsor's relationships with its twin cities and celebrate kids' creativity. Children can mail in or drop off drawings at City Hall Square. And in our social spotlight, a special dog in Chatham-Kent is having a big birthday bash. This is Winnie, who is a disabled dog at Charlotte's Freedom Farm, and she's turning 5. He was born without fully formed front legs, but hasn't let that slow him down one bit. The farm is holding a birthday celebration for Winnie on May 30th.
Why do I have a feeling that that is going to be a very popular event this weekend?
Yeah, it looks like they have a lot of things coming up, and it is the 30th, not this weekend.
It is the 30th, you're right. I was just going to mention that. He has so many cute little friends. Oh, the kids are going to go crazy when they see all those animals.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, so if viewers at home have video they want to share with us, how can they do it?
Yeah, absolutely. They can email us at newsnow@bellmedia.ca or text to 10400.
Okay, that's what's happening now. Thank you, Melanie. Paris's oldest bridge just got a dramatic new look, and it's unlike anything tourists have seen before. The transformation when we return. The best piece of advice, Rita, bring your umbrella or just stay indoors.
You got it. It is a perfect weekend to stay indoors, at least the first half of it. Saturday, we are expecting showers and thunderstorms first thing tomorrow morning. Another look at your 7-day forecast brought to you by EnerCare experts at home. Good news is we do have a bit of a break Sunday morning and our temperature climbs to 23 degrees, but rain returns Sunday afternoon with the chance for a passing shower and thunderstorm. Monday, though, nice recovery, 25 degrees. It'll feel like summer by Wednesday under a mix of sun and cloud and mainly sunny conditions Thursday and a high of 26 degrees. Stephanie?
Okay, thank you, Rita. Now, reporter Kate Otterbein joining me now, and the web desk is really working on a piece about a local researcher who has won an international award. Tell us about this.
Yes, a researcher and professor with the University of Windsor has been named the winner of the 2026 Laureate of the Daylight Award for Research. We will cover what he is researching and why online at ctvnewswindsor.ca tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank you, Kate. Finally, tonight, the oldest bridge in Paris is sporting a new look. It's been transformed into a giant inflatable cave, part art installation and part tribute to the landmark's history. Correspondent Jeremy Roth explains.
The oldest bridge in Paris is a work of art unto itself, but it took on a whole new persona when it was transformed by an artist nearly overnight into a giant inflatable cave. The surreal art installation that has enveloped the famous Pont Neuf is the latest work by renowned French street artist JR, and is the result of plenty of planning, sponsors, more than 400,000 square feet of fabric, and lots of air. The artist says the enveloping illusion is meant to pay homage not only to the quarries that provided the stony foundation of the bridge, but also to a similar famous installation in 1985 called Pont Neuf Wrapped. The new experience will be open to the walking public in June and will coincide with the famed Paris Fashion Week and World Music Day. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
So incredibly different compared to the other historic statues and structures in Paris. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, adds a little variety, a little modern variety.
Yeah, and the fact that they were able to do that like overnight took a lot of obviously effort in order to do that.
Crazy.
Okay, on behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And I will be back with your only late local newscast tonight at 11.